Hello everyone, welcome to this Sims 3 house design video. So today I'm here in Plymouth Isle yet again. This is a world that I created completely from scratch, and I recommend checking out that series on my channel if you haven't yet. Anyway, here I'm building a very simple semi-starter house, kind of in the smaller community by one of the beaches in the world. So this house is right near coastal Cape Cod, which I did a couple weeks ago, and one of the other starter homes in the world, Strawberry Starter. So this house is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So that's why I say that it's a semi-starter and not like a full-on starter, because, you know, it's rather larger than what you consider a normal starter home to be. This is actually the largest starter house that I've built. Now, the price of, like, I was just looking at, like, what, other Sims or what Sims families have when they start out, just like based on what was in my library. And it seems like families that are like 2 adult Sims and 2 children, or like 3 adult Sims or something like that, they get like 21,500 simoleons. So my original goal was to make it cost under 21,000 simoleons. Unfortunately, this house went a little bit over budget. I think that just went in just because I was making it a 3-bedroom. So it ended up being about 26,000 ends up being the final price. But you know, if you consider the fact that it's a little bit of a larger house, I feel like that's not a bad price. I mean, that is definitely within starter home kind of money. I mean, it might not be a house that your Sims can buy like right off the bat, but maybe they could move here, you know, very quickly. And it's also kind of designed as a little bit of a fixer-upper house, because it is very basic and not beautiful. You know, it's got very cheap things in it, and I kind of intentionally made it look a little bit more dated. But yeah, this house was built for lot number 94 in the world. So if you want to download it, you can. There's going to be a download link in the description below. Thankfully, it seems that Sim file share is working again. So I'm able to get download links for my houses. I'm able to upload the houses to the website, which I was having trouble with for like quite a while, since like the beginning of April. But that seems to be a non-issue now. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully it works from now on. But yeah, all the previous house builds that were having issues, like where I was having issues with getting them uploaded, those all have download links now, so you can go check those out. So all the videos I did in April, you can now download those. So yeah, if you've been waiting for download links for those houses, you can go and check out those videos and download those houses. But yeah, this house was built for lot 94. There's a lot map linked in the description below, and also a link to where you can download the world in the description below as well. Now, I do change the way the outside of the house looks a little bit. I was originally going for like this big, you know, roof and front porch and all that, but I ended up scaling that back. I don't end up having that. It's just because the house looked like one giant rectangle from above, and it just bothered me. Just like the shape of it, it just looked just like a log. So I decided I would change it. And I do change the front mostly. It ends up having a little bit more shape to it, because I get rid of the giant overbearing roof. And also this kind of separates a little bit, because this house right now in its current form looks very similar to another starter home I did in the world. I think it was a budget bungalow. It looks very similar to that with that roof. So, and also Seagull Starter has a very similar roof too. So like, it's just like a theme with my starter houses. So I decided to change it up so it looks a little different. It's a little bit more unique. And I ended up using this wood paneling on the outside. I think I used it on Seagull Starter as well, but I used different wood on this one. But like the wall material itself is the same. I think it's from Pets. I'm not entirely sure though. Yeah, it is from Pets. So it has like these boards of wood, and then like this like trim at the top and bottom. And I don't know, I think it's kind of an interesting like exterior like cladding kind of look, I guess. So I ended up using this, and I made it like a white color. It's kind of like an off-white, well, actually not really even that much of an off-white, but yeah, it's pretty white. And then I have the trim kind of like this darker wood color, and I also use this other paneling kind of material from Pets as like a contrast, like with the crosses there that kind of go in the eaves of the roof. But anyway, here I'm just recoloring the windows. The windows are actually not white. Usually I put white trim on my houses, but this one has wooden windows and wooden trim and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just doing that right now. Oh, there goes the roof. So yeah, there's a few iterations that the roof goes through, which you'll see. And I also consider like a trellis and like various other things in the front, but none of those really stick. I mean, of course, you know what the house looks like already because you saw the thumbnail before you clicked on this video. So yeah, as you've probably known already, there's no giant front porch in the end. It's kind of a small little front step, more like with like a little portico sort of thing. So yeah, you'll see that. But yeah, the front porch kind of just shrinks generally as I go along. But yeah, I was going to have this trellis here, so I thought, oh, maybe that would be interesting to have. And I guess it would, I mean, I guess that could be something to include, but I don't know. I thought it just looked a little strange, especially once I started changing out the roof. I went with a hipped roof for a little while, and I decided I didn't like that either, so I don't keep that as well. So yeah, I can see just a lot of indecision with the roof, especially. I mean, the rest of the house is already as it is. I don't change that. The roof is really the main thing that I continue to come back to, just because I'm just not sure about it over and over. And also you can see I used the foundation as kind of like stilts as opposed to making a solid foundation, because it does save money, a little bit of money, but also it kind of goes with like the cheapness look of the house. So yeah, that's why I did that. Yeah, I went with a black roof for a little bit, but I actually ended up changing it later on to be a gray roof because I wasn't a huge fan of that roof. Also, if you hear creaking noises in the background, it's just because it's windy outside. So that's all. It's just the windows like rattling. But anyway, I don't know. I always wonder if there's like sounds that like come through the voiceover, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So you might not hear any creaking, but it's just wind. Anyway, so yeah, on the inside, I recolored the doors here. The hallway gets wood paneling. It's not meant to look like a new house. It's meant to look dated, kind of like a fixer-upper sort of house. It's a semi-starter home. So that's kind of why I went for that. I feel like I do that a lot with these houses in Plymouth Isle. Or just like a lot of my houses now in general. It seems to be like the thing I've just been doing recently is just making a lot of houses purposely dated. But not every house is like beautiful and modern and all brand new. So like I feel like it's more realistic to have houses that are like a little rough around the edges, that aren't up to date and aren't super modern. And I feel like it makes a lot more sense to have stuff like that. And I think it makes the world feel a little bit more realistic, and also just kind of fun to play around with some different colors and stuff, like different wacky tile patterns in the bathrooms, and like different colored sinks and toilets and things, and like different colored tile in the kitchen. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. So anyway, here I think this is almost the final way the roof looks, though not quite. But yeah, the floor in the house is kind of that grayish wood. And I'm also just recoloring the railings and stuff here. Yeah, I really did want to keep the price like to an actual like starter home level of like 21,000, considering it's a house made for like 3 or more Sims. But yeah, it just wasn't going to work out. And even though it's like really bare bones on the inside, it still costs like 26,000, I believe. It's maybe a little bit more, 26,200 or something like that. So yeah, it's really bare bones, but it still is a little bit more than what all out starter home would be. So it's just really hard. Like I've always struggled making starter homes because there's just certain things that I like need to have in house. Like I need to have landscaping, like to an extent, have some landscaping, and have just like some level of details in the house. I mean, the bedrooms in this house are very kind of empty. They just have basically a bed in them and a dresser, and actually one has a bed and a dresser, one has a bed and a nightstand, and the master bedroom has a bed, dresser, and nightstand. So very fancy. So yeah, I mean, you get the idea. It's a very kind of more bare bones house. Right now I'm working on the kitchen. So the kitchen is in kind of its own room off of the dining room area. And it has this kind of greenish color scheme to it, greenish color scheme. But yeah, very simple kitchen. There is a laundry room in the house, which probably doesn't help with the price. So, that would probably help with the price if you got rid of that. But yeah, there is a laundry room with a washer and dryer. I also use these like bookshelves from university life to kind of make a partition between the living room and dining room, because I wanted to have a fireplace, kind of like or or like a wood burning oven sort of fireplace, like in the middle of the room, which I thought would be kind of cool. But they were so expensive. I think they were like $900, 900 simoleons minimum. So, I decided to go for the bookshelves instead. Still probably more expensive than just doing nothing, obviously, but I kind of liked having that sort of partition between the two spaces. But anyway, yeah, also rugs, of course, aren't necessary, but I like to have them. It makes the room look a little bit better. Right now we're moving on to the bathroom in the house. So it's a pretty simple bathroom. You have a pedestal sink, stall shower, toilet. That's basically all you get. And I'm just doing the flooring here. I kind of went for like this whitish tile. So there you go. And there's a mirror there. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I use these curtains throughout the house. I like these really long floor-to-ceiling curtains that kind of can be placed separately, like they're left and right sides. They're not like joined by like a bar or a curtain rod. Those are from the store. I don't know where, I don't know what store pack they're from. I've used them in other starter homes before though, because they're really cheap. Like only 45 simoleons each, whereas like some other curtains are like well over 100. So I decided to go with those, even though I know that like not everyone's going to have them, because they are store content. So keep that in mind if you download the house and all the curtains are different. That's probably why. But of course, it's a starter home. You don't need curtains anyways. I just like to put them in because it just makes the house look a little bit better. So I mean, by all means, go and delete the curtains if you want to, keep the cost down. And also, if you don't have them, and they're definitely not necessary to have. I would say that this house is like honestly very base game. I think like the washer and dryer and those bookshelves in the living room are from University Life. The curtains are from the store. Not all of them. The small like shades that are in the kitchen, those are from Ambitions. And then like some of the plants I use are like, from I think Supernatural, some of the bushes, but I think that's it. I mean, none of it's really essential. I mean, like the wallpaper on the outside is from Pets. Honestly, as I talk more, the more I realize that things are from different packs, the more than I thought there were. But yeah, I mean, I guess this is like the main core of the house, like all the windows and stuff. I mean, actually the doors in the house are from Ambitions. Never mind. I guess it's not that much of a base game house, but yeah, there are a variety of packs that went into it, but they're not necessary. Like, especially with the house like this, if certain objects get replaced, it's not a huge deal because, it's not like, some glorious piece of art. So, you can just swap things out. But anyway, here, getting in some bushes, getting in some general landscaping for the house. Those hydrangea flowers, the white ones, are actually only 1 simoleon each. Those are a great bargain. So I like to use those on starter homes. Yeah, but anyway, we're actually quite near the end here. It's a pretty quick build just because it's, a very simple house, and not super detailed. There's a download link in the description, so I'd recommend downloading it if you want to add it to your own world. And also I'd recommend checking out my Creative World series if you haven't yet. It's on my channel. And I have plenty more house design videos like this on my channel as well, and plenty more coming up in the near future, so subscribe if you want to see more of those. And yeah, I really appreciate it if you consider liking the video if you liked it, and make sure to leave a comment below if you have any feedback. But yeah, there's going to be some screenshots coming up very soon, so stick around for those. We'll give you a little bit of a better idea of what the inside looks like and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just doing some very minor final touches here before we finish it up. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.